Crop Production and Management, Class 8th, Science, Part 2, discussing topics basic practices of crop production and the preparation of soil. In the last video, the content learned from Part 1 are the definition of crop, factors influencing crop cultivation in India, broad cropping patterns in India, Kharif and Rabi crop seasons. Examples of Kharif crops: maize, paddy, cotton, groundnut, and Rabi crops are wheat, gram, pea, mustard, linseed, etc. So in this video, we are going to discuss and learn basic practices of crop production and preparation of soil. Before going to discuss and learn the allotted topics, let us see the screen showing a picture. So the picture shows two children along with their parent watering the plants, I think potted plants, and maintaining beauty of the garden. So I think they follow some methods to grow potted plants in their garden. What are the methods? We know them pretty well. Watering the pots regularly, mixing soil with kitchen wastes, I think to make manure, removing unwanted plants from the pots and from the ground and pots also. And moreover, we observe the period of time for the growth and flowering of different plants. Know how much time taken to bloom and blossoming of a specific type of flowering plant. Not only that, all these methods are collectively called as a cultivation. Whether it is a large area of a crop field or a kitchen garden or a school garden or whatever it is, they are collectively described as cultivation. And one more thing we have to say, that growing ornamental plants is a good habit of gardening at home. Ornamental plants means flowering plants. Here, before going to discuss methods and different practices, let us know something about cultivation of paddy. Bujo is asking, why paddy cannot be grown in the winter season? Actually, Bujo is asking about the paddy, which is widely grown in Kharif season, that lies between June and September every year, that is rainy season. For the question asked by that Bujo, Paheli is asking, Paheli is giving answer. Paddy requires a lot of water, therefore it is grown only in the rainy season. Rainy season is nothing but Kharif season. Other water required crops also here. Sugarcane, soya bean, millet, etc. In certain areas of our country, if water resources are available even in winter season, farmers cultivate paddy, but the duration is very less compared to the Kharif season. Cultivation of crops involves several activities undertaken by farmers over a period of time. You may find that these activities are similar to those carried out by a gardener or even by you when you grow ornamental plants in your house. These activities or tasks are referred to as agricultural practices. This paragraph gives us the definition of agricultural practices. Cultivation of crops involves with several activities. Those activities are done even in garden also, while growing ornamental plants, while maintaining beauty of the garden and mixing of the soil, watering the plants regularly, making of manure, etc. Now let us design an overall definition on agricultural practices. Activities are tasks that are taken to cultivate a crop over a period of time is called agricultural practices. Once again, let me repeat. Activities are tasks that are taken to cultivate a crop over a period of time is called agricultural practices. Example, activities for cultivation of paddy, wheat, etc. The time taken for cultivation is varying from one crop to another. This is the most important thing we should remember. Let us say, for example, it takes nearly 5 months for cultivation of paddy during Kharif season. It takes 1 year for sugarcane to have a complete yield of or production. It takes about 5 months for cotton and 5 months, about 7 to 8 months for wheat. In this manner, we can understand there is a variation of crop growth and production from one crop to other. Now, let us read different agricultural practices. There are 7 stages of agricultural practices which lead a complete growth, development, and production of any specific type of crop in the crop field harvested by the farmer. First stage of agricultural practice is preparation of soil. Second one, sowing, adding manure and fertilizers, irrigation, protecting from weeds, harvesting, and the main, last but not least, storage. These 7 stages of agricultural practices are the most important activities or tasks should be followed by every farmer. Here, we should remember them mainly because in a short questioning section, sometimes examiner may ask about right different agricultural practices. To answer such a question, we have to remember these 7 stages of agricultural practices. This is the most important part of our lesson. No, these 7 stages are going to be studied by us one by one. Now let us learn stage by stage. First step, preparation of soil. The preparation of soil is the first step before growing a crop. One of the most important tasks in agriculture is to turn the soil and loosen it. This allows the roots to penetrate deep into the soil. The loose soil allows the roots to breathe easily even when they go deep into the soil. Then why does the loosening of soil allow the roots to breathe easily? From this paragraph, we can understand and we can learn loosening of soil, the importance of loosening of soil to make the roots penetrate deep into the soil to fulfill all the biological activities. Biological activities in the sense taking water and minerals from the soil and giving firmness to the plant to fix onto the ground. We can expect a question from this paragraph that is, why should we turn and loosen the soil? To answer that question, these lines which are mentioned here in this paragraph will be taken as an answer. And there is another question given at the bottom of this paragraph. Why does the loosening of soil allow the roots to breathe easily? This is one of the in-text questions. Let us answer on our own for this question. Loosening of a soil provides necessary aeration to the roots. Aeration means exposed by the air because it allows the roots to penetrate the spaces in between the soil particles which have air trapped in them. When soil is loosened, particles have some spaces among them. Those spaces allow the air, and air is trapped among those soil particles, which enables the roots to penetrate very easily and for other beneficiary things performed by the roots due to loosening and turning of the soil. There is another beneficiary thing that will be profitable to the farmer. That is, the loosened soil helps in the growth of earthworms and microbes present in the soil. These organisms are friends of the farmer since they further turn and loosen the soil and add humus to it. But why the soil needs to be turned and loosened? Here, adding humus to the soil is another advantage to the farmer to cultivate sort of a crop. Humus means the topmost layer of the soil is called humus. You have studied in lower classes. Humus is the most important part of the topmost layer of the earth, which is not only beneficiary to the farmer but also many organisms which make shelter in the topmost layers of the earth. Now let us see one more in-text question given here at the bottom of this paragraph. But why the soil needs to be turned and loosened? To answer this question, loosening of soil makes the soil aerated and thus adds humus and nutrients to the soil. As a result, crop yield will increase. The turning process of the soil helps in increasing the capacity of absorption of water and manures in the soil. So remember this answer, very important. Absorption of water and manure and minerals in the soil is the most important aspect that is done among the soil particles when only the soil is loosened and turned. Let us see the friends of farmer, a cluster of earthworms given in this screen. We studied about earthworms in lower classes, how they contribute their services in terms of making of vermiculture, vermicompost, which is highly useful to the farmer as one of the biofertilizers. You have learned in the previous classes that soil contains minerals, water, air, and some living organisms. In addition, dead plants and animals get decomposed by the soil organisms. In this way, various nutrients in the dead organisms are released back into the soil. These nutrients are again absorbed by plants. We know the importance of the parts of dead plants and animals which are easily decomposed in the soil, because animals and plant bodies contain many minerals and nutrients which in turn they decompose in the soil, helpful to the plant while absorbing with the help of roots. And at the same time, that is possible only when humus is added and only when the soil is loosened and turned. We have to remember that adding minerals and nutrients to the soil will be possible when the dead organisms, either plants or animals, get decomposed in the soil. So, in that way, the soil gets its fertility, its strength by receiving decomposed material from living organisms' bodies. And at the same time, water, minerals, and other nutrients already present in the layers of the soil, which help the plant to grow in a healthier way. Since only a few centimeters of the top layer of soil supports plant growth, turning and loosening of the soil brings the nutrients rich soil to the top so that plants can use these nutrients. Thus, turning and loosening of soil is very important for cultivation of crops. You know why turning and loosening of soil is very important for cultivation of crops? Such a question will be asked in the examinations. To answer such a question, these lines will be written. Turning, loosening of soil enables growth of earthworms, growth of microbial organisms, adding of humus, adding of rich soil nutrients, and aeration means soil particles get exposed by the air, etc. The process of loosening and turning of the soil is called tilling or ploughing. This is done by using a plough. Ploughs are made of wood or iron. If the soil is very dry, it may need watering before ploughing. The ploughed field may have big clumps of soil called crumbs. It is necessary to break these crumbs. Leveling the field is beneficial for sowing as well as the irrigation. Leveling of soil is done with the help of a leveler. So this is the most important activity should be followed by the farmer, that is tilling or ploughing. So to till the field, plough is used. When the soil is ploughing, now the farmer observes, even we can observe some clumps get formed due to ploughing. Those clumps are called crumbs. And at the same time, those crumbs will be broken and the field will be leveled with the leveler. The result of leveling the field of ploughing makes the farmer to sow the seeds in a uniform manner and to supply the water in the name of irrigation to all the crop field correctly time to time without any disturbance, so that all the field can receive the water because of uh, leveling done by the leveler. Let us see the picture of the clumps, which are called crumbs, while the farmer is plowing the soil with a wooden plow. So, a couple of bulls are carrying or pulling the plow. So, while plowing the field done by the farmer, some crumbs are formed, which are shown in the circles. You can expect a question: what are crumbs in the crop field? Big clumps of the soil in the plowed field is called crumbs. So crumbs are shown here. We can observe with the help of this picture given on the screen. Let us see the pictures of different types of plows. A plow that is fixed to the back of the tractor. So having multiple plows and olden days plows are also given shown here, and triplet plow. So many places we see this type of plow also. Let us once again repeat the definition of tilling or plowing. The process of loosening and turning of the soil is called tilling or plowing. This is the definition. We may expect a short question on this definition. What is meant by tilling or plowing? This is one of the important short answer questions. And coming to the next paragraph, sometimes manure is added to the soil before tilling. This helps in proper mixing of manure with soil. The soil is moistened before sowing. Now, enrichment of the soil with the manure is one of the important aspects while implementing agricultural practices in the crop field by the farmer. This is all about the preparation of soil, and I am also adding the link of the part 1 of this lesson in the description part. Please go through it, and I hope you liked my video. Now, like my video and share it to your near and dear. And I will continue the topic with the agricultural implementations in the next video. Thank you very much.